Did you know that the origins of modern banks date back to massive temples filled with grain? Think about it. People were borrowing and lending long before money even existed. So, who controlled all this? Was the very first bank actually a temple? If you're ready, we're traveling back 4,000 years to uncover the mysterious and fascinating birth of banking. Today, banks are an essential part of our lives. Credit cards, digital payments, interest rates, savings. But the banking system is far older than we imagine. In this video, we'll dive into history's hidden pages to see how the first bank emerged, how people managed financial transactions in a world without money, and how banking transformed over time. 1. Chapter: The First Signs of Banking in Mesopotamia. Ancient historical records show that the foundations of banking were laid in Mesopotamia during the Sumerian era. Banks back then were nothing like modern banks. Temples and palaces acted as places where people stored goods, borrowed resources, and received loans. Why temples? They were the safest places. They had storage facilities. Priests were trusted members of society. They stood at the center of economic power. Here, for the first time, record-keeping, lending, interest, and collateral, the core elements of banking, were introduced. It sounds unbelievable, but it's true. The very first banking transactions were made with grain. 2. Chapter: How did interest begin? In Sumer, someone who produced grain deposited it in a temple. The temple then lent that grain to someone else. In return, the borrower paid back a little extra. And that's how the earliest form of interest was born. Cuneiform tablets tell us. Interest on barley loans was about 33% per year. Interest on silver loans was roughly 20%. So those high interest rates we complain about today, they're nothing compared to ancient Mesopotamia. 3. Chapter: The First Bank in History, the Uruk Temple Bank. Many historians consider the temple complex in Uruk around 3,400 BCE to be the world's first true bank. These temple banks stored grain and precious metals, provided loans, tracked repayments, recorded transactions on clay tablets, stored sealed tablets used in trade. The organized system you see in modern bank vaults? Its roots go back thousands of years to Uruk. Temple priests sealed, dated, and archived clay tablets for every transaction. This became the first formal accounting system in human history. 4. Chapter: Why was banking necessary? There's a simple reason. As trade expanded, trust became a problem. Is my wealth safe? Will the borrower pay me back? Trade routes are dangerous. How do we protect our goods? Temple banks solved all of these issues. At the time, large trade networks connected Mesopotamia, Egypt, and Anatolia. Merchants deposited their goods in temples and received a receipt-like clay tablet. These tablets were so reliable that they could even be used as a form of payment in other cities. In short, the earliest version of a banknote was actually a clay tablet. 5. Chapter: Babylon and the Code of Hammurabi. As the banking system expanded, the state stepped in. The famous Code of Hammurabi became one of the earliest legal documents regulating banking. Loan agreements, interest rates, collateral rules, consequences for unpaid debts, protection of goods stored in temples. For the first time in history, the economy was supported by law. These were the first baby steps toward financial regulation. 6. Chapter: How banking evolved. After Mesopotamia, banking evolved through ancient Greece with private bankers, Rome with advanced credit systems, the Middle Ages with merchant guilds, the Renaissance with powerful Italian banking families, eventually becoming the modern system we know today. But let's not forget, it all started with grain stored inside temples. If today we can withdraw money from an ATM, make payments online, and rely on a global financial system, it's thanks to the foundations laid 4,000 years ago in the quiet temples of Mesopotamia. The origins of banking are truly one of humanity's most important achievements. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to Money Origins. In the next episode, we'll uncover more financial secrets hidden in the shadows of history.